well on best trick, not on the freestyle run, on best trick. This is a best trick, the best trick. Oh, what the fuck? If Rinaldo brings a new trick, why he don't win if he landed on the second attempt? But he landed. Why he don't win? Because if you check the points of Rob Adelberg doing the no-hands fronting from last year, he gets less points than this year. Why?
Now things are getting really interesting. It's time for the best trick wrap-up in this X Games mini-series. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, this is the Riders Lounge podcast, and I'm your host, Steve Sommerfeld. Normally we have a whole bunch of one-on-one interviews from some of the biggest names in freestyle motocross here, but this is a little bit different to bring some different opinions and reviews on major events, and Best Trick is probably the one event everybody is waiting for every year. What is the newest trick that's out? What's the one big badass trick that no one will ever do again? Until about 5 years later when everyone's throwing it down in a full freestyle run. But hey, that's the way FMX goes. It's all about progression. And I don't know about you guys, but I almost look back on freestyle motocross and my yardstick of what was happening in the sport throughout the decades now was what was kind of thrown in Best Trick in that year. So, for example, this wasn't Best Trick at X Games, but the year 2000, that's where everything changed in the sport. Carey Hart, he landed the backflip. It was at Gravity Games. That changed everything. Even though, as we found out in the special interview with Jason Ryan, where he's rewriting FMX and BMX history on the backflip, talking about Jose Yanez. So if you don't know anything about what I just said then, Carey Hart did not do the first motorcycle backflip, and that's just blown your mind, I'll put a link in the show notes and you can listen to that episode. Anyway, back to the best tricks. In 2001 and 2002, that was like everybody trying to chase the backflip. They were trying to get the job done. Then in 2003, that was the 360. Travis Pastrana, Brian Deegan, landing it on the same night. That was just one of the craziest moments in X Games. 2004, the first ever body varial with the Corolla thrown by Chuck Carruthers. 2006, the double backflip landed in a competition by Travis Pastrana. That was one of those things where like, this will not happen. Nobody will do this on such a setup with the risk to reward. And Travis did it. 2007 or 8 or kind of that time was then all about the front flips with Paris Rose and Jim DeChamp, Tom and Charles Pages. It was all happening. All these guys were looking for the front flip after Travis's double. And this trick wasn't done at X Games at the time, but I do want to point it out. Charles Pages landing the decade air. That was the time where Tom and Charles were really just pushing all these different tricks. So in that 10 years, a lot really happened in freestyle motocross. But there was also, I look at different times and I'll think of riders as well. So you've got Kyle Loza, 3 X Games best trick gold medals with the Volt and then a couple of electric dooms. Jacko Strong, I think, what's he got? 4 gold medals in best trick with the front flip and the Jack, the body varial that he brought out, and then some more front flips. And then in between all of this, there were backflip combos, fronties, doubles, varials. And then in 2019, David Rinaldo combined at least 2 of those with the California roll body varial in a backflip combo. And that just blew everybody's mind. So that's how I kind of look at the sport of freestyle motocross. When I look back, I'm thinking of years, I'm thinking of best tricks, and that kind of sets the scene for where the sport is going. How do you look at the sport? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I would like to know how you guys look at it as well. Before we get started, I will go through the results. So here we go in 6th position. Actually, 7th didn't happen because Luke Ackerman did pull out after winning the gold medal in freestyle and having an injury in that second run. So in sixth position, whatever, J.O. Archer with the double backflip. He didn't really land it though. He was injured before he started the event. I've seen some pretty gnarly pictures of what his elbow and his arm looked like leading into X Games. There was definitely a lot of hype around J.O. Archer. And I'm sure if he had just that tiny little bit more practice, it wouldn't have been an issue. Anyway, he took a dirt sample on the double flip and he couldn't throw out the tricks that he probably would. And I'm guessing a Cordova double backy would have been one of the tricks he was going for, but we'll never know. We'll have to come back and see next year. Jackson Strong in fifth position with 74 points. He went for the no-hand front flip. He did the no-hand front flip. He landed it, but then he smashed into the dirt wall at the end of the runoff. So if Jacko didn't crash, he did the trick that Rob Adelberg used to win. Would Jacko have won? Or would Jacko and Adelberg share gold? Or who did it better? Who knows? Again, can't go back in time, but it is something interesting to look at. In fourth position, with a whole bunch of X Games medals up his sleeve, but unfortunately not this year, Josh Sheehan with the double backy no-hander. And interestingly enough, in third position, it was Harry Bink with the double backflip, one-handed knack, grabbing the boot as he was spinning two backflips. And second and first place, well, this is the controversy, and there's going to be a lot of talk about this, of course, in this episode. David Rinaldo in second position with the new body varial called the Bobby Spin. And in first position, Rob Adelberg with the front flip no-hander, landing it absolutely perfectly. So when I think back of different tricks and different times in freestyle motocross, in 2021, even though David took second place, I think this year will be remembered more for his new body varial, the Bobby Spin, because it was genuinely the only new trick in the pack. There was the double backy one-handed knack from Harry Bink. That is a new trick. But David, I would say, came out with the only real one that kind of blew everybody's minds. And that's mostly what Best Trick's about. Everyone just wants to see what's going to get thrown down. But what I will remember about 2021 was actually the fact that I was still so damn lucky to be hooked up by not just the best beer brand in town, but one that's actually owned by the German government, which is so crazy. The Rothaus Brewery, who delivers the best damn alcohol-free beers under the Munich beer purity law. And I still can't believe they've helped to make this podcast a reality. All right, first up, one of the earliest FMX riders in freestyle motocross and the man behind FMX East over there in the US. If you guys still remember that, you'll know Clint Esposito. He has retired from freestyle motocross, but not before picking up a few skills on the microphone, calling freestyle motocross shows, which led him into his full side hustle as a comedian. And if you haven't heard of Clint, then shame on you, because you can find his podcast episode from last year, and I'll link that in the show description as well. The guy is piss your pants funny, and he's even on board for the new Fresno Smooth movie that will be coming out very soon called Baco.
First, Best Trick. I thought Best Trick was really good. I thought the fact that they had the entire course to choose their jump really helped them out. Like basically Adelberg having a step down there to be able to do the front flip. Next, I think that the short amount of, I don't think there was very much lead up to the event, and that put those guys kind of scrambling a little bit. And I think maybe that's why there was so many crashes, because people had things that they wanted to do in their heads, but with no knowledge of the event going on. I'm sure they only had limited practice at it. With that being said, first off, Harry Bink's one-handed Nac flip, double flip, one of the most stylish double flip tricks, I would say. Most double flip tricks look forced, and man, that was as good a one-handed Nac as you can do anytime. I would be stoked with that, just normal one-handed Nac like that. Also, David Rinaldo coming out with whatever that was a pretty sick varial. And again, I'm assuming that he probably had put some type of work into it prior to just the last couple of weeks, but to come out, slam that hard, and then be able to come back and land it, that was awesome. And finally, your winner, Adelberg. Dude, I mean, front flips are so gnarly. He had his hands off forever, and he greased that thing perfect off of a regular ramp. It's just like amazing that just the jumping like that is so hard that now no-handers are that impressive, but that's what it is. It's basically, I feel like front flips without a ramp are like anal. Like it's always there, but it's still a treat every time.
Anyway, let's go with the next funniest guy, I think, in freestyle motocross. Not that it's a comp, but we could make it one. From Chile, but spending his time hanging out in San Diego and mayor of the Action Village, Javier Villegas.
Well, best trick. Best trick is best trick. Whatever is the best. Whether it's innovation, whether it's banger, whether it's rotation, whatever is the best trick is the best trick. Truth, last year or last X Games, front flip no-hander also got the medal over the new varial that Rinaldo brought this time. But it looks cleaner. It looked way better. Front flips are looking way more in control now. That no-handed front flip from Adelberg was massive. I do like the other style of front flip though, the diver style, but I don't know if those are possible without the kicker. Again, Rinaldo's new varial was pretty impressive, but again, for the untrained eye, it's gonna be closer to a California roll. Even though it was like, for my untrained eye, looked a lot like the inside roll, just like opposite. But again, amazing, dude. Like that blew my mind. I'm really divided whether it should be innovation that Rinaldo brought or control. My opinion, best of the best, it's everything. Like control, smooth landing, impressive trick. If you ask me, if I was judging at that level, I would still give it to Adelberg over Rinaldo because he looked more control of the trick. Maybe how Rinaldo did it is really control, and that's as control as it can get. But I don't know. It's like, it's hard. It's hard when you haven't tried those tricks.
All right. Still pretty serious from these guys this time around. It is best trick, so I do get it. This is the business end of freestyle motocross. Now let's bring in one of the regulars in this X Games wrap-up series, back with one of Spain's longest-serving FMX riders, Antonio Navas.
Like every year, I'm just waiting for something new, expecting like new tricks, and especially after 1 year and a half with no shows, no riding, almost no riding contest with for all the riders. So I was expecting more new tricks, and yeah, Rinaldo was the only one to show something completely new. And yeah, not sure about Harry Bink, about the double backflip, Nac one hand. I don't know if somebody else was doing it before, but it was pretty impressive too. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, Rob Adelberg's front flip no hand was insane, super clean. It was perfect, like completely perfect, but it was already done. It was made maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I think, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I think it's more important to have riders like Rinaldo and Harry like pushing, new tricks and doing cool stuff like that, and it's important for the sport. So yeah, but in overall, I think it was a good contest too, and yeah, I can't wait for next year.
I wasn't sure if we would hear from Andy Christie since the last episode. I thought he was lost in the dark web looking on an old server which might have held photos from fmxaustralia.com before, unfortunately, Adam had to shut it down, and probably trying to find some embarrassing photos of all of us Aussies from like 20 years ago. But anyway, he did send us this message while he was on a mission.
X Games Moto Best Trick was brilliant to watch. Harry Bink's one Hand Nac double flip was just brilliant. The way that he just wrenches that bike around on the second rotation was fantastic. And Ronaldo's body varial is just so technical. I don't know how he managed to find himself on that bike again, but he did, and it's amazing innovation on the varial. And then you've got Adelberg's no-hand front flip, a very deserving gold medal for him with that one. Just he could not have that trick any smoother than what he does, and I think that he absolutely earned that gold medal.
Another newcomer to this episode is Kevin Peterson from up in Denmark, one of the very few Danish FMX riders, and actually, although he is a bit washed up like most of us on here actually, at least he did find some time to give his opinion while at work.
We've waited 2 years for the event to happen because of COVID, and I think we can all just say that we're pretty stoked that the competition is actually happening again, so that's cool. Great to see all the riders still busting out huge tricks. I kind of want to say that I was a little disappointed that Rob Adelberg won with a front flip variation that we've actually seen for quite some years now. Sure, it was massively extended, but I think that Rinaldo busting out an innovative body varial was a clear winner in my book. David is showing just progression in the sport with new tricks, and he's done that the last 2 years. The Malachi flip last year, and I don't remember what the name of the new one was this year. Also, huge props to Harry Bink busting out a double flip one-handed neck. If you ever tried to do a one-handed neck on just a straight jump, you know how hard that is, and I could only imagine doing a double flip how much that would want to twist the bike. So huge props to that. But I just think I'm just a little disappointed that the fact that it's not an innovative trick that's winning the best trick competition. For me, that was the best trick. That was innovative for the sport. That was a step in the right direction. Instead of just hucking a trick you've been doing for 3 years, 4 years maybe, or I don't know how long Jacko's actually been doing the front flip variation. I'm no judge. A little sad that we didn't get to see like Adam Jones in the freestyle competition. I think Adam Jones has some superior style. And he's just so clean in his riding. I don't know. Maybe we'll see him some other time.
Returning for this episode to give the core fans' opinion is FMX Grizz, who has been hard at work building the new ramps over in England. So I'm stoked he found some time to send through another message.
I was stoked to see this and for it to come underway, because since lockdown had been on, I guess the riders had a lot of spare time on their hands, so they took to social media, and I'd been speaking to a lot of the riders, and J.O. Archer was one of the main riders. He's been consistently talking with me throughout, and when he got that invite, I was so stoked for him, because he'd been putting in so much work when he can. He works a big 9-to-5 job as well in construction. And when he got that, I was just like, man, like, this is it. Like, Jay's going to do it. He's bringing home a medal. And he'd been putting in all that work. And for him to crash on that first jump, man, I was so, like, just emotionally attached to it. I was like, man, I felt like that was me. But, mate, like, all my credit to him. Like, he still got back up. Shame he didn't do his second run. It was too of a gnarly one, but man, I can't wait to see him back next year, and hopefully he can get a bit more practice on them ramps, because obviously, like, he's been training on a different ramp, I guess, and them ramps are a lot different. But all in all, I think best trick was one of the best moto disciplines that we got to see, because we got to see quite a few of the boys going big, and it got pretty sketchy pretty quickly. But like that entertainment, that's what the fans are there for. We're here to see it all. But good on the boys, and hopefully they all heal up quick soon. But also congratulations to the medal runners. Obviously Harry Bink put on that gnarly jump straight after Jay crashing on the double. That must have been a mind boggle for him as well. And even Ronaldo, that was a mad body varial, one that we've seen. We do want to see more of them. Hopefully get some more crazy ones soon. But yeah, I think overall best trick, kept us all on our feet as well. I think the whole of the X Games kept us all on the edge of our seats. Don't think there was one dull moment, but can't wait to see all the boys back next year, all at the top of their game.
And after winning Message of the Week back, I think it was in the freestyle episode, Danny Dwayne 416, he's back and he's pumped to give his no BS thoughts on best trick.
Yeah, my thoughts on best trick, I think nothing against Rob Doubleburger, but I think Ronaldo, or at least Harry Bink, should have got it. I mean, Ronaldo, remember when best trick used to be like new tricks? And when your best trick is somebody else's best trick, I'm like, and then you got guys busting out new tricks. But, Ronaldo trips me out. His Instagram, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he had this French rapper in the background playing music while he was jumping. And the rapper, he's like, oui, oui. And I was like, oui, oui. I was like, man, you can't say, I guess I mean yes in French, but, you can't be gangster and say oui, oui. I was saying that shit going down a slide in the 3rd grade. But anyway, let it show, man.
Okay, it seems nothing gets past Danny. He's watching all of your videos on Instagram, and if you've got crap music, he's going to let you know. Now, finally, we've got to the legend of FMX. He's back again, the man who invented so many tricks that are still seen in FMX shows today, and someone who has built his life and career around the sport, Edgar Torrenterres. And this is just another small snippet from our 2-hour-long interview, which I will release next week.
But Rinaldo, he bring a new trick, and he need to win if he learn, because I know the no hands frowny on the normal ramp is hard to do, but these guys did last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then, for you, it's more about new innovation.
Well, on best trick, not on the freestyle run.
Yeah.
On best trick, this is a best trick. The best trick. Oh, what the fuck? If Rinaldo brings a new trick, why he don't win? If he landed on the second attempt, but he landed. Why he don't win?
Yeah, that was
because if you check the points of Rob Adelberg doing the no hands fronty from last year, he gets less points than this year.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. I'm a good motherfucker.
You've done your research.
Yeah, for sure. I have all the things on the paper. From last year, from 2 years, from every year.
There are so many good points that everybody brought up in this episode. I feel like I don't really need to add any more, to be honest. I'd say you guys absolutely nailed this one. Some things that actually did stand out that I probably didn't pay as much attention to, or I have a few thoughts on, but actually Harry Bink's double backy one hand knack. At the time when I watched it, I was like, okay, that was a good warm-up trick. I wasn't sure if that was his first one and he was going to go send something even bigger. But one thing that, well, I guess a few of the guys here have already mentioned was how clean that trick was. And when I think about it, they're absolutely right. A one-handed knack is fucking hard. Just to do it upright is hard. To do it in a backflip is even harder because the bike really just wants to naturally twist. So to do that trick as smooth as he did it in a double backflip, I may not have appreciated how good that was at the time of watching, but certainly listening to these guys here, I completely agree. And third position is not a bad spot in any competition, and I think he's definitely deserved it. Another good point actually was what FMX Grizz brought up, talking about J.O. Archer, and unfortunately he crashed on that first double backy. And he was one of those riders. I felt the same as Rossi did. I was like, if J.O. can come out and feel comfortable and throw down the tricks I think he's going to throw down, like a double backy caught over, I'm assuming that was on his trick list. I guess he probably didn't need to ride it on a bar pad because it's only best trick. You only need to think of one jump. But knowing how much time J.O. has spent on those big tricks, double backies, how much work he's putting into triple backies, can he make that I'm not going to call a normal trick, but can a triple backy ever be a trick that gets thrown down somewhat regularly in a best trick comp? Obviously, there was no ramp for that at X Games this year. So, yeah, I was really hoping to see what J.O. could do. And I'm disappointed that he crashed only for him because I'm sure he wanted to just throw down and not be injured. But to be honest, J.O., I think he's got a hell of a future ahead of him, and this is just a small speed bump along the way. So, not a big deal in the long-term thinking for J.O. I wish we could have seen what he's been working on. Jacko Strong, if he didn't hit the wall, well, he went for a front flip no-hander as well. Would that have knocked out Rinaldo and put him into third position? The big thing, though, is David Rinaldo, after 18 months, I think Navas said it and really made a point of it, was Rinaldo was the only one to come with a completely new trick. And the cool thing was, actually, I was talking to David maybe a week ago, and I did want to ask him how long had he actually been working on that trick. And he told me he only started on June 14th, 2021, this year. When was the comp? July 14th to 18th? So I think it must have been July 15th was Moto. So in only 1 month, David managed to learn the bobby spin. That is incredible. And he only landed on the airbag the day before he flew out. So 29, 30 days of training, maybe not even that much because there's obviously travel time in there. So less than 30 days training. He didn't even know he was going to land that trick until he put it on the airbag the day before he flew out from France to America. That is incredible. Another one actually that I was thinking of was Sheeny. I would have loved to have seen the 360 seat grab. I know he's done it before, and I guess he probably already thought there's no point doing it because he's done it before and it wouldn't be enough to win. I just think it's one of the best tricks out there. It's just such a cool trick. Would have been cool just to see it. But anyway, whatever. Now, I guess you've probably hung around this long. You might be wanting to hear what I have to say, and I don't really want to give an opinion because I think I'm going to upset people. This is the conundrum of best trick. And in my opinion, I guess a couple of guys have already said it. It was pretty much 50-50 out of who was on here today as to who they think won. And everyone does want to see innovation. How do you get innovation? You have to reward innovation. But then you can't just go giving out participation awards either, so everyone feels good. So you want to reward the guys who are risking everything and with style. And what makes best trick? Man, so much goes into it. It's such a hard one. And I think this year, probably more than any other year, showed how difficult it could be to judge gnarliness versus innovation just for this competition of best trick. Since everybody sacked up and gave their opinion, I will too. So short answer, I'm happy with the results. I would give Adelberg the win. And I know half of you'll hate me for saying that, but I'm just one guy and I didn't judge, so it doesn't matter. But I would actually... No, hang on. I'm going to sit on the fence. No, I won't. I won't sit on the fence. But can we not just give first place to both of those guys? No, that's crap. That's stupid. It's a possibility, but it would be stupid. For me, the reason I would give the gold to Adelberg this year was the risk versus the reward on the run-up. For me, the motion to make the front flip happen on a dirt bike, I just feel it's a higher level of risk. I could be totally wrong, but that's just how I feel. I'm just thinking, if I was riding towards the ramp and I know I have to jam the brakes on at exactly the right time and tuck and hold and just hope to make that front flip come around, I feel like there's more risk in that 2 seconds or 4 seconds on the run up than there is for almost any other trick in freestyle motocross. That's my reason why I would say it. And the second part would be because Adelberg actually held that no-hander as long as he possibly could, and he greased the landing. That it kind of plays into it a little bit. But yeah, I'm just going to go with risk versus reward for this one. But then in saying that, innovation, like I just mentioned before, David Rinaldo is the only person to have landed a bobby spin. No other rider or no other judge will ever know, well, up until this point, knows how hard that trick is. So a couple of guys have landed a front flip no-hander. Adelberg and Jacko are working on those tricks every day. But I guess you need to work on those tricks every day to be ready for a competition like that and throw it down as perfect as he did. Man, it's such a tough one. But then if I think about body varials, the California roll definitely gets thrown down a lot. And I'm not going to take away from how difficult that trick is. But has anyone landed Chuck Carruthers's? Corolla. That was a mouthful. The Corolla, the first ever body varial landed. Nobody else has ever landed that trick. And Chuck was actually one of the judges this year at X Games. So that's kind of an interesting point. Nobody has landed his body varial before. Nobody outside of David, because it's brand new, has landed that body varial before. Maybe after 10 years, no other rider will ever do the bobby spin again. And then we all look back and say, man, David really should have got that gold medal. But that's also a very tough thing to look back as a judge. So when it comes down to it all, risk versus reward or innovation, it's just personal opinion. And I think what you could probably do is you could have swapped the judges on that day and you would have a completely different result. And I would be happy with that result as well. That honestly, I would be happy if David won. I'm happy that Adelberg won. I think both of them, for both reasons, deserve gold. Would the other riders be happy if you changed the judges and you had a different result? Probably not. Would Adelberg be happy that he gets second and David wins? I don't know. But that's the sport we're competing in. It's all subjective. And if the judges wake up on the right side of the bed and they like your trick and your style on that day, then you're lucky. This has definitely been a tough episode. It seems like it's split 50-50, Adelberg or David for the winner. I'm split 50-50, to be brutally honest. But yeah, whatever. It's just a podcast, and it's just cool to have everybody join. And I do want to thank all these guys for giving their opinion. Clint Esposito, Javier Villegas, Antonio Navas, Andy Christie, Kevin Peterson, FMX Grizz, and Danny Dwayne 416 for the fan view, and Edgar Torrenteras. Everyone comes with different points of view and different opinions, and that's what I really like about this format, and I hope for everybody listening right now also appreciate their time for jumping on and for giving their opinions. Now, if you've got through this far in the podcast, you'll also know it takes so damn long for me to make these episodes, so much longer than I thought, actually. So if you could give a little bit of appreciation for the people who actually give back to this podcast, I'll put a link in to Rodhouse's website in the show notes. And if you're looking to find yourself a new brand of beer to try, check out the Tannen Zepfler, and you can find them in almost every country around the world. We have one more episode to go in this X Games miniseries. Sorry it has taken so long. Like I said, it actually takes me a lot longer to put all this together than I thought. And the next one up is Quarter Pipe. And then after that will be the big one, Edgar Torrenteras. His full episode will be out next Monday or Tuesday. And you really do not want to miss that one. He did not hold back on his feelings on missing out on an X Games spot this year and what he thinks of it all. And if you didn't really get a good idea of what he thought so far, whoo, you're in for a surprise. All right, guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.